The average American is paying 21.52% interest on their credit card debt right now, and investing in the stock market at the same time. That is not a strategy. That is losing 11 percentage points on the same dollars. Guaranteed. Every month. There are 6 places your money should go before it goes anywhere else. And the order is not obvious, not optional, and not what most financial content actually tells you. Getting the order wrong in year 1 costs the typical beginner over $3,700. Not from bad investments, from doing the right things in the wrong sequence. This video is the sequence. Most personal finance content tells you what to do. Open a Roth IRA. Build an emergency fund. Max your 401k. Pay off debt. Invest in index funds. All of that is correct. None of it tells you the order. And the order is everything, because the same 5 decisions executed in the wrong sequence generate a completely different financial outcome than the same 5 decisions done correctly. Here's the clearest way to see it. If you put $500 a month into an S&P 500 index fund, a completely reasonable thing to do, while carrying a $6,595 credit card balance at the average 2026 APR of 21.52%, your investments need to return 21.52% just to break even on the interest you're paying. The S&P 500's long-run average is around 10%. You are paying more than twice that in guaranteed interest on the debt. Every month you invest before clearing that balance, you lose the difference. That's not a market risk. That's arithmetic. The wealth ladder exists to put the highest certainty, highest return decisions first, and the variable ones last. Work from the bottom up, in order, and you capture every guaranteed advantage before taking on any market risk. Every number in this video is from a 2026 source. The IRS, the Federal Reserve, the FDIC, or major financial data firms. No outdated figures, no evergreen advice dressed up as current. You're going to get 6 steps, the exact target for each. The 2026 specific rates and limits, and the dollar cost of doing them out of order. By the end of this video, every dollar you earn has somewhere specific to go before it touches anything else. Nothing on the wealth ladder works without this first. The emergency fund is not an investment. It is not supposed to grow aggressively. It has one job: to stop every financial crisis from becoming a debt spiral. And right now, for most beginners, it's missing. A U.S. News survey from January 2026 found that 43% of Americans cannot cover a $1,000 emergency with their savings. 1 in 3 doesn't have enough to cover a single month of expenses. That means the first unexpected bill, car repair, medical expense, job disruption, goes straight onto a credit card at 21.52% APR. You are immediately in a hole that erases everything else you're building. The emergency fund is the dam. Without it, the flood always wins. Your target: 3 to 6 months of essential monthly expenses. Not income, expenses. Add up rent, food, utilities, insurance, minimum debt payments. Multiply by 3. That is your minimum target. A household whose essential expenses in 2026 run $3,000 a month needs $9,000 at minimum, and ideally $18,000 sitting in cash. Not invested. Liquid. Accessible within 1 business day. And here is where the 2026 numbers change everything for this step. The national average savings account rate at a major bank, Chase, Bank of America, U.S. Bank, is 0.01% APY. That is not a typo, 1 basis point. But as of June 2026, the top high-yield savings accounts are paying up to 5.0% APY per Fortune's daily rate tracker. And accounts above 4% are widely available from FDIC-insured online banks with no minimum balance requirements. The gap between leaving your emergency fund at a traditional bank versus an online high-yield savings account on a $15,000 balance is $750 per year. Every year. For doing nothing differently except where you keep it. Step 1 Action. Open a high-yield savings account. Set your target amount. Automate monthly transfers until you hit it. Do not invest a single dollar past this point until you do. The employer match is the highest guaranteed return available to any investor on Earth. And half of people eligible for one are not capturing it fully. Here is what it means in plain numbers. The most common employer match structure in 2026, according to Bureau of Labor Statistics and Vanguard data, is 50 cents on every dollar you contribute up to 6% of your salary. That is an immediate 50% return on those dollars the moment they hit your account. If you earn $60,000 a year, 6% is $3,600. You put in $3,600. Your employer puts in $1,800. You have $5,400 before the market does anything. A 50% instant return, guaranteed. Regardless of market conditions, there is no investment product anywhere that offers a risk-free 50% return. The 2026 401k employee contribution limit is $24,500 directly from the IRS. But the amount you need for Step 2 is not $24,500. It is only the minimum required to capture your full employer match. That number varies by employer. Find out your employer's exact match formula. Contribute exactly enough to get all of it. Not a dollar more at this stage. Not a dollar less. In 1980, the average private sector employee had a pension, a guaranteed monthly payment in retirement regardless of market returns. Employers carried the investment risk entirely. Today, 51% of employers with retirement plans offer a matching contribution, meaning the best deal left from that era is now optional, contingent on your action, and walked away from by millions of people every year. Capturing the full employer match is the closest thing the modern worker has to the guaranteed retirement benefit most workers lost 40 years ago. And unlike a pension, it compounds in an account you control. Do not leave this on the table. Every dollar of high-interest debt you carry is a guaranteed negative return on that dollar. Not a risk, a guarantee. The 21.52% average APR on interest-bearing credit card accounts, per Q1 2026 Federal Reserve data, is not a market variable. It is a fixed cost you are paying every single month that debt exists. The average American credit card balance as of early 2026 is $6,595 per Capital One and Experian data. At 21.52% APR, that balance generates approximately $1,420 in interest per year. Every year. Until it's gone. Here is what that means for investing. To beat paying down a 21.52% debt with investments, your portfolio would need to return more than 21.52% every year. The S&P 500's long-run average is around 10%. You need more than double the historical market average just to break even. This is not a close call. One more data point that reframes this permanently. The global statistics, citing Federal Reserve data, found that a $5,000 credit card balance paying only the minimum monthly payment takes over 15 years to eliminate and costs more than $6,000 in interest alone. The interest exceeds the original principal. You borrow $5,000, you pay back over $11,000. That is what carrying credit card debt at 2026 rates actually costs. Now, you might be thinking, what about the psychological benefit of investing? Doesn't building the habit matter more than the math? It's a fair question, and the answer is, the habit you want to build is paying off guaranteed losses before taking on market risk. That is not a lesser financial habit. It is a more disciplined one. There is also a practical way to maintain both. If your employer match requires some 401k contribution from Step 2, keep that going. It's a 50% return. But every additional dollar should go toward the high-interest debt until it is gone. Then the $140 you were paying in credit card interest every year becomes investable capital. That is the habit. Converting guaranteed losses into guaranteed gains. High interest means 7% APR or above. Student loans under that rate, car loans under that rate. Those are not Step 3. Those you carry while doing Steps 4 and 5. The Roth IRA is the most tax-efficient account available to a beginner investor in 2026. And it is now more accessible than it has ever been. The 2026 contribution limit is $7,500, up from $7,000 in 2025, confirmed by IRS Notice 2025-67. The income phase-out for single filers starts at $153,000. For married couples filing jointly, it starts at $242,000. If you're reading this as a beginner investor, you almost certainly qualify. Here is what the Roth IRA does that nothing else does. You contribute after-tax dollars now. The money grows inside the account completely tax-free. And when you withdraw in retirement, the growth, the dividends, the compounded gains, all of it, comes out with zero federal tax owed. For a beginner investor who is likely in a lower tax bracket now than they will be in 20 or 30 years, paying the tax today when it's small and never paying it on the growth is mathematically superior to the traditional pre-tax approach. In 2005, a 25-year-old software engineer opened a Roth IRA and contributed $4,000, the limit at the time. She bought a single S&P 500 index fund and never touched it. By 2025, that $4,000 had grown to approximately $23,000. At a 40% combined federal and state tax rate in retirement, a traditional IRA would have cost her $9,200 in taxes on that growth. Her Roth IRA cost her zero. The tax-free growth on a single $4,000 contribution saved her more than twice what she originally invested. Now imagine maxing the account every year for 20 years. Step 4. Action. Open a Roth IRA with a low-cost brokerage. Fidelity, Vanguard, and Schwab all offer accounts with no minimums and zero-fee index funds. Contribute up to $7,500 per year. Invest in a total market or S&P 500 index fund. Automate it. Do not touch it. In Step 2, you contributed only enough to your 401k to capture the employer match. Step 5 is everything else, up to the 2026 IRS limit of $24,500. Why does this come after the Roth IRA rather than before it? 2 reasons. The Roth IRA has an annual contribution limit that does not carry forward. If you skip 2026, you cannot contribute an extra $15,000 in 2027 to make up for it. The window is gone, so you prioritize funding it fully before the year ends. The 401k, by contrast, has a higher limit that most beginners are not going to max at first. And unlike the Roth, it is funded through payroll deduction, meaning you can adjust contributions at any point in the year. That said, Step 5 is still one of the most powerful tax tools available. Every dollar into a traditional 401k reduces your taxable income now. If you earn $70,000 and contribute $10,000, you are taxed on $60,000. At a 22% marginal rate, that is a $2,200 tax saving in year 1 alone. Money that would have gone to the IRS now compounding in your retirement account instead. The honest thing to say here is that most beginners will not reach Step 5 in year 1. That is fine. The latter is not a checklist you complete in 12 months. It is the sequence you follow as your income and financial situation improve. What matters in year 1? Emergency fund, full employer match, high-interest debt elimination. If those 3 are done, you're already ahead of most people regardless of age or income. Step 5 becomes the focus once steps 1 through 4 are running on autopilot. And for many people, that happens faster than they expect. Because eliminating the credit card interest in Step 3 frees up $100 to $150 per month that was previously leaving their account with nothing to show for it. Step 6. Taxable brokerage. Investing without limits. This is the step most beginners start with. It should be the last one. A taxable brokerage account, the standard investment account most people picture when they think about investing in stocks, has no contribution limit, no income restriction, and no tax shelter. You can put in as much as you want. You pay taxes on dividends each year and capital gains when you sell. It is the right place for money that has exhausted every tax advantage option above it. The reason it comes last is not because it's inferior as a wealth-building tool. It is because every dollar in a taxable account could have been in a Roth IRA growing tax-free, or in a 401k reducing your taxable income, or paying down 21.52% guaranteed interest. Once all of those are handled, the taxable brokerage is where the surplus goes. Here's a question that clarifies the whole ladder instantly. If you had $1,000 and someone offered you a choice, guaranteed 21.52% return, guaranteed 50% return, 4% guaranteed no-risk return, or a probable 10% return with market risk, which order would you take them in? You'd take the 50% first, then the 21.52% guaranteed, then the 4% no-risk, then the 10% probable. That is the wealth ladder. The 50% is your employer match. The 21.52% is paying off your credit card. The 4% no risk is your HISA emergency fund. The 10% probable is the market. The order is the strategy. Let's put a number on doing this in the wrong order. Investor A, the wrong order. No emergency fund. Not capturing the full employer match. $6,595 in credit card debt at 21.52% APR. Putting $300 a month into a taxable brokerage. Annual cost, $1,320 in credit card interest. Missed employer match on a $60,000 salary at 3%. $1,800 in free money left on the table. No HISA, leaving emergency savings at 0.01% instead of 4% on $9,000. $359 in lost interest. Total first-year cost of wrong order. Approximately $3,579 in preventable losses. Before the market does anything, Investor B, the right order, emergency fund and HISA at 4%. Employer match captured. Credit card eliminated. Roth IRA funded. Taxable brokerage is where surplus goes. Same income. Same desire to build wealth. Different sequence. Nearly $3,600 difference in year 1. Compounded over a decade, the investor who got the order right is not slightly ahead. They are in a completely different financial position, because the guaranteed advantages at the bottom of the ladder compound too. The market is optional. The employer match, the credit card interest, the HISA rate, those are decisions. And the right decision on each one is the same. Do them first, in order before the variable and uncertain ones. Next week on InvestorFrame, we're going one level deeper on investing systems. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss it. Link in the description. We started with a single math problem. 21.52% interest out, 10% return hoped for. The gap is the mistake, not the intention. The wealth ladder does not ask you to be a better investor. It asks you to be a more deliberate one. Capture the guaranteed advantages first. Take on market risk only after they're secured. The sequence is the strategy. And now you have it.